Okay, so we're live now. We've got quite a bit to cover and not a ton of time, so we'll kind of get going. Let's start with a word of prayer. Anyone want to volunteer for the word of prayer?
I can say it. Dear Heavenly Father, we're grateful for this opportunity we have to meet together today as a group, and we are grateful for the chance we've had to prepare. And we pray that Thy Spirit may be with us as we hold this discussion, that we will be able to learn from one another and learn what the case intends us to learn. We're grateful for this opportunity to go to school and to continue our education. And we say these things in Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Ethan. Appreciate that. Okay, so we'll do a quick overview. So our group, us here, went canoeing down a river, made a bad call, and decided to take the rapids in our canoes, sorry, plural. And they were fairly wrecked. We'll kind of go over some of the details of the wreck here, but they got wrecked pretty badly. One of us broke their leg. We can decide who's the lucky person that broke their leg later. Everybody wants to break their leg. That's great. This will be a wonderful discussion, I can tell. But one of us broke the leg, wrecked a bunch of stuff, and we're stranded. We're kind of in the middle of nowhere with lots of possibilities. So we're going to discuss a couple of things. We kind of have to decide what we want to do, what our best options are. There is a right and wrong decision. So I read the answers, so if I'm not doing a ton of talking about what we should do, don't take it as you do anything wrong. I just don't want to steer the conversation. I want you guys to share your honest opinions about what you think. Everybody should have put together the Word document for the wilderness survival activity. We're going to go through the rankings and the scores on each one of those. We then have to average our scores together, rank them, and then determine a few different numbers. So overall, should be a fun hour. If we start to get off track, I may steer us back on track. I apologize. I just think we're going to be doing a lot of talking within the hour to get us. I have to cover a lot to get everything taken care of in the hour. So, did anybody have any questions about the wilderness survival story? First off, everybody good with it? Okay. All right. So let's see. First off, so what do you think we should do? Who thinks they have a great idea what we should do? It's a good question. Who does use fanny packs?
We should decipher what's most important.
Yes, that's what we need to just try to figure out right now. So,
well, you can't live without water for a while, at least, and then food for a while. It depends on if we're moving, if we're going to try to get somewhere, or if we're just going to wait it out.
And I think that's the decision we need to make first.
Okay.
How everybody felt with what we do. Do we go? Do we stay? Kind of what direction? What does everybody think be the best way to do it?
Well, since I broke my leg, I'll stay. You guys could go on without me. I lived a good one.
You lived a good life. So what else? What other thoughts? So what do we all do?
Yeah, see, I guess there wasn't like a whole lot of details, so I was like, can we split up? I'm assuming like in a real world situation, obviously we could, and there was nothing in the instructions of you have to stay together, you all have to make the same choices. So yeah, I kind of have the same idea. If we can split up, it's probably not a bad idea for whoever has a broken leg to stay, just because like, depending on how bad it is, obviously, like they shouldn't be walking on it. But if it's super, super bad, we need to get them like somewhere as quick as possible. So in my ordering of like the things that I chose that were the most important, my mindset was that we would be moving, trying to find safety, just because I didn't want to rely on someone finding us, because at the very least it would be 5 days. and who knows how long it would be after that. And I was like, we could probably get somewhere within 5 days, like at least that 16 miles to the road or whatever. So in my mind, the odds were better if we moved and tried to get somewhere rather than if we just stayed and waited for rescue.
Cool.
So that was my vote. That was my idea.
That's a good call. Other thoughts?
Got a question actually. It said, I think it said everyone else was just like cut and bruised, and none of that's like get infected or anything like that. I don't think it never said anything about that, but that I think that would the severity of those things would change it a little bit. Like if you get infections, I'm not sure how long that will take you before you start getting sick and whatnot. And maybe you can't really move as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but we'll just assume it's not that bad. We'll just cuts and bruises. Yeah. Everyone else could move.
Just minor stuff. Yep. Other thoughts?
I think first off, we need to stay calm and get warm. And I thought maybe divide into 2 groups. So some of us stay behind, especially the one with the broken leg, and then the ones who are more, some of the others would go off and find help, because it would be like 4 days before anyone would bother looking for us. So.
I actually agree with that. I don't know how practical if one person's got a broken leg, I don't think it's practical to assume that they can make it very far. And so I guess in my mind, part of the group has to stay where they're at to take care of that person and stay in one place, so that if other part of the group can go and get help, then at least they know where to find the part of the group that stayed behind.
Okay. You know, when I first read the case, I thought, okay, my luck is that the one person that knows where they're going is the one that busted their leg. You know, that's just how my luck goes. It doesn't matter. You know, the guy that knows what he's doing and where he's going, that's the one that's done for the count, and the rest of us are stuck. But so I kind of thought about sticking put, because if it's or staying put, because if it's a pretty common river for rafting, that we just wait for other rafters to come down and then, you know, seek help at that point. But I was pretty flexible, so I kind of did my first one based on staying put, which priorities were a little bit different on that. But so I think overall, is everybody okay with splitting up and going 2 groups? Yeah. Is that everybody good with that?
I think my original impression was to stay put as well, just because the moment you start exploring is the moment that you can get even more lost than you already are. So it's kind of an inherent risk. And if they're by a good source of water, then that is safety in and of itself. So.
Yep. And like I said, that was kind of the way I'd leaned at first. Now, so I'm going to kind of jump between what we decide and what the experts decide. That way you guys kind of understand what's going on. And the team picked correctly that the best thing to do would be find the 2 strongest, you know, people with canoeing experience, fix one canoe, and get them headed downstream just as quick as possible. So I think good call there, team. That was kind of one of those things where because the most significant issue is the injury. I mean, shock is always a bad thing, and then staying out, and because they talk about huge swings in temperature, and a lot of the stuff was wet, which definitely causes problems. So anyway, keep that in mind. So let's talk about first actions to be taken. So we decided to do that. We decided to split up. 2 people are heading downriver. 3 people, 1 with a broken leg, is staying. What do you think the most important actions are to take first?
Well, I guess then I'm assuming that the first thing we did was fix the canoe.
Yeah.
But then I guess I'm thinking you got to make sure people can stay warm. They said it was starting to rain and that the temperature fluctuates a lot. So I am not a survival expert by any means, but I do know that hypothermia is really bad.
Yep.
Those were kind of my same thoughts as well. like staying warm above like food and water, even because like one bad night could kill you, but you could go a couple of days at least without food or without water, especially where there's like rain. If it rains a lot, you don't really need to have like the water purification too badly unless you don't have anything to hold water in. But yeah, so I agree with that as well, like staying warm. So
good. Other thoughts? And they do mention first thing to do would be to fix the canoe. Get one canoe going and get 2 people headed downriver as quick as possible.
Yeah. I guess the other important thing is the direction we're headed. Make sure we're headed in the right direction, right towards civilization or towards help or whatever. Don't want to go deeper into the woods or wherever we're at.
Yeah, and they talk about just continuing the canoe trip, not cutting across town or using the mat or cutting across country, nothing like that. It's just stay the course, because you've got 3-4 more days, and 2 people, if they really push it, could row most of the way and really rush downstream, and maybe find some different people that could help too in that way. But yeah, good. So shelter, everybody thinking shelter top priority for the 3 that are staying?
Fire first, I think. Get warm, or have to get shelter, then make a fire, so the fire doesn't go out by the rain.
Yeah.
Staying warm, and then
Now, the one thing that threw me off a little bit was on the paper, it talks about 6 sleeping bags, but it doesn't say wet, but in the reading it says wet. So that kind of threw me off a little bit, but getting stuff dried out was very important. Get that fire going and get stuff dried out, because if it could be a long night, and that person with the broken leg, that shock could really do a number on them. So.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So let's kind of go through the key items that we think we're going to need. So what we have to do is we have to come to a consensus what we think the number 1 item is. So let's everybody go through and pick what they said was their first item, and then let's kind of debate it just a little bit. We've got 45 minutes to discuss 14 items, really. Some will go fairly quick, but so let's just kind of throw out, what did everybody have for their first item?
I put the sleeping bags as the number 1.
Yeah, I forgot about all the rain and fresh water from there, but I just wasn't sure how much fresh water was available, so I just said the water purification tablets, but you probably don't need that first if you collect it from the rain or some other source that's
Okay. Interesting. Other thoughts?
Yeah, for me, I actually picked matches because I think if you build a big enough fire, you can dry out quick enough. That'll help you stay warm. And if you feed the fire enough, the rain won't put it out, as long as it's big enough. And so that'll help you stay warm while you build your shelter, dry out your equipment, and then sort of make a plan.
That was my first item as well, was matches. So
I put matches.
I went with duct tape. I'm married to an engineer, and he uses duct tape to fix everything.
Yeah, that's a good point too, because without the duct tape, you probably couldn't fix the canoes, which was our first step before shelter.
Right, and that's what I'm thinking actually, is that you need the duct tape to probably create the shelter and to fix the canoes and to maybe later on fix the fishing poles and whatever. So I went with duct tape first and matches second.
So, what do we, as a consensus, what do we think? What's our number one? There was a couple for matches and duct tape. What does everybody think?
Probably duct tape.
Duct tape.
I think
so
you can't even send the canoe.
Yeah.
Assuming that we used the duct tape to fix the canoe, you can't even send the canoe without that. So.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Because I mean, the reading doesn't really say what's wrong with, like, it says they were severely damaged, and then it says like what's wrong with them, but it doesn't really say like if it's fixable with duct tape or not. But if we're going to fix the canoes, I would assume at the very least we're going to need duct tape to tape up the tears where it's like 18 inches or 12 inches or 15 inches. So if we want to get someone on the way, I would say duct tape is going to be number one as well.
Okay. All right. So everybody okay with me putting our group ranking as duct tape for number one?
Yeah.
All opposed or any
Yeah.
opposed? Okay.
What do we have? Matches is number two then? Is everyone okay with that? Or?
Yeah. Well,
Matches
do
is number
we
two?
fill in ours too, right?
Yeah. So you hopefully you've got your rank, your file, your B filled in at this point. We're filling in C as a group, and then I'll give you the expert ranking when we're all done and that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
and then I'll turn one in for all of us. I believe is how that works. So because I think I have to post how we did.
Yeah,
As
we
a
could
total,
we could
so-
help you with that.
Yeah.
Do
I
we
think.
know, is the grade just like doing the assignment, or is the grade how close we get to the
Nah.
expert ranking?
Just
It's
doing it? I
just
feel like
doing
that
it.
it's a little
Yeah.
biased.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, because like I said, part of it is if you decided, hey, I'm staying, that changes a lot of. Because once I read through the answers, I went, well, yeah, if I didn't stay, this makes sense. But in my opinion, it was better to stay. But again, everybody kind of handles survival situations a little bit different, and
Yeah.
I was wrong. I told my wife I was wrong.
Note to
So-
self: don't go camping with you.
Yes, because I'd kill us all by staying put. That kind of thing. So
Well, it's just funny because like if you get lost as a kid, your mom's like, "Stay put, I will find you." It's like beat into you as a kid, like Spencer
Yep.
was saying. But guess not always.
no. All right, so 2. What did everybody think for 2? I heard matches get thrown out there. Is everybody okay with matches or other
Yeah.
ideas there?
Let's get everyone dry.
Okay. Any opposed to matches is number 2? Okay. If you're opposed, just say something. No big deal. Okay. 'Cause we'll discuss, and then you can either change our minds or we'll change yours. One of the two. So. All right, 3. What's the third most important item on the list? What did everybody have?
I put compass for number 3. I think that you need to, and then a close 4th was my plastic covered map of the region, so that I had direction and then I knew where I was going.
Okay.
But if one group is staying put, those probably aren't as important.
Right. I guess at this point we need to rank who's getting the resources first. I think that's an important thing to determine. Is it the people who are leaving right away, or is it the people who are staying?
For my number 3, I said the fanny pack. Gotta have that fanny pack, man. Little cheese and snacks.
Yeah, my thinking. So my number. What are we on 3? My number 3 was the plastic covered map, but that was because my number 2 and my number 1 kind of led into that. But I guess my thinking is priority should go to what we need in order to survive, and then after that, we should do what we need in order for the people to make the trip, because obviously, if we can't survive, we'll be dead, so we can't make the trip. Which is just my thinking. So I would think that the third item should be something that will help people stay alive, whether that's like the sleeping bags to make sure they keep warm, or if we feel like it's food or whatever. That's my train of thought. And then after we have like everything necessary to our survival, to then go into, okay, now what do we need in order to make this journey so that we can go get help? But that's just my thoughts.
I guess I'm assuming that the 2 people, if we're sending 2 people off down the river, that they don't need to take much with them. We're going to assume that the resources are. I'm assuming the resources are staying with the group that's stuck there, and that the 2 that are going are taking the canoe and just boogieing to try to find somebody to help. That's what I was assuming, but.
Okay. I actually had parachute cord as my number 3. I thought, okay, we've got a fire going. Let's get shelter built. And I was gonna use parachute cord for that, but that was my thought.
Well, I had duct tape for number 3. So that's our number 1. So you guys
Yeah.
convinced me.
All right, so
Yeah, and I'm kind of with you, Eric, on the parachute cord, but I'm either something that's going to keep us dry or warm. I think we're still working on shelter and staying warm is kind of the priority still, based on the number of things we still have there. So either parachute cord or sleeping bags or even the flotation devices or the clothes, like any of those things can be used to, I'm thinking they can be used to help keep people warm or, I don't know. I'm not a survivalist.
yeah. Okay, so 3. Anybody in favor of the map being number 3?
I'm saying I'm going to go with paracord.
I just follow the North Star and I don't need no map.
Right?
Okay, so paracord, the parachute cord.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Everybody go with that for number 3? Any opposed? Okay. All right. So number 4. What do you think?
I actually put insect repellent as number 4. I'm not sold on that necessarily because I still think we probably got to work on keeping people warm and dry. But I think insect repellent is going to be pretty important in that kind of environment.
Yeah, I'm thinking sleeping bags would be next if we were going to go with warmth, because we'd probably hang them over the paracord, over the fire to dry them out, and then throw them on people to keep them warm.
Yeah, I would agree with sleeping bags as well. Just from what I remember, isn't synthetic, even if it gets wet, it's still pretty good. Like, I mean, granted, nothing's as good as if it's dry, but I thought synthetic sleeping bags could handle being wet. Like, you could still survive the night in a synthetic sleeping bag.
It can still keep your body temperature up. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So I think it's important to get shelter so that you're staying out of the rain. But then even if you're in a shelter, you're still going to be cold at night, especially if it gets down in the 20s. So a sleeping bag might be a good idea.
Yeah, I'm on board with that.
Any opposed? Sleeping bag number 4?
Yeah. I have a confession. I said whiskey for number 4. I was like, you know what? I want to die anyway, so might as well.
Well, and see,
that was back to the cuts thing. Like,
Yeah.
I thought, like, if we was infected, like whiskey, alcohol, like wash it out.
Yeah.
That's actually the wife's answer, so we'll blame that on her.
No, you know what though? I'm going to make a plug for the whiskey because it's a little bit further down on my list, but it's not the bottom of the list. It is actually useful for medicinal, for purifying, and for like my mom's an herbologist. She actually buys whiskey to make her like herb tinctures and stuff like that. So anyway, we can get to that later. I think it's still further down the list, but I don't think it's the last thing on the list.
All right, so Logan, you want to stick with the whiskey at 4, or do you want to go with the sleeping bag at 4?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right, so sleeping
Maybe
bags
later.
later. Yeah, no problem. All right, number 5. What did everybody have for 5? I had duct tape at this point. I was off, so my vote doesn't count.
I had the fanny pack of food because I felt like at that point we were pretty secure with shelter, and so now like we'd want to make sure we had something to munch on, just in case we're bored back at camp, with that broken leg.
For me, I said the sleeping bags, so that's pretty close.
So we picked sleeping bags was number 4, Logan.
Yeah.
See, okay.
Well,
So-
the thing is assuming now, because some of mine have got flipped around, right? It's not necessarily what we had ranked at 4 or 5. It's kind of what we had ranked next, right? What think is
Most important at this point. Yeah.
still important at this point because obviously some of ours are getting kind of flipped.
Yep.
So I guess from my point of view, we still probably either we want to throw the insect repellent in there at some point pretty soon, or go with stuff still that's going to keep you warm, which I think maybe the clothes, but food's a good option too.
Okay. So
For 5, I had duct tape, and 6, the next one was flotation devices, just so you could maybe float down the river. 'Cause I didn't think we could fix the boat, because I thought the boats, one of them was like bent in half.
Mhm.
So that's why I thought flotation devices to go down there.
Okay, so 5, all in favor of food? Or all in favor of clothes?
I could push the fanny pack down a little farther. We'll go with clothes.
Yeah, I think it's close.
Yeah, I think if we're
Clothes.
drying out sleeping bags, we might as well dry out the clothes at the same time.
Any opposed to clothes being number 5? All right, number 6. What do you think? Food at 6?
Yeah,
You okay with that?
I think we're getting hungry by now.
I think so too. All right, 7.
Is it just because I'm from Florida that I think the insect repellent is important?
Yes.
Do you know how big the mosquitoes are down here?
Yeah, I was gonna
Yes,
say
I do.
it's pretty cold here in Rexburg. I don't know the last time I've seen a bug, but I think insect repellent could be important. I mean, at the very least, you could throw it in the fire and cause an explosion if you have to give someone attention.
Good call. You can use it as a flamethrower too, you know.
Could be.
Dry out those sleeping bags real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. So 7, is everybody saying the duct tape, or I'm sorry, the insect repellent at 7? Everybody
Yeah,
wants to-
my 7 and 8 we've already used. So
Any opposed? All right. How about number 8? We're halfway through, and we've used half our time. So
So at this point, should we start considering when we need to start sending the team of people out? So now that we've got camp established at this point, and everyone's protected from the insects.
Yeah, I guess I don't. It wasn't clear in the reading, like if we needed the compass and the map to like, or if we like kind of knew the trail already, and we would just follow it naturally. So that would kind of determine whether or not we want to bring the compass and the map. Because if the people in the canoes are just like, oh yeah, all we have to do is follow the river and like we'll get there eventually. Obviously the compass and the map are less important, but if they need that in order to make like all the portages and stuff that it talked about, those would be important as well. Because then if they don't have those, why are we sending them out?
I guess I assumed that if we're sending people down the river, I'm assuming, I guess, when I did this, I thought we were all just going to stay and wait. So, but if we're sending people down the river, I'm going to assume they don't really need a map for that. They're following that river, right? But
Right.
that's what I thought too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was just unclear on that. So if they're following the river, then I don't think that the map and compass are very important.
Okay. So 8 then's either the flotation device, the fishing poles, the frisbee, the water purification, and the whiskey. One of those. What do you think?
flotation,
Flotation?
just so the people could go.
Okay. Any opposed to flotation at number 8?
no, I think that's good.
All right, number 9.
I'm going to go with the fishing poles. I'm assuming we can fix those with the duct tape and use them.
Well, I agree with that. My thought is, if this is a floating only trip, there's got to be some killer fishing. Absolutely killer fishing along that river. So I'd go with that. Other thoughts?
Yeah, And you can use the cheese from the fanny pack as bait.
There you go.
All right.
All right, so number 9 for fishing poles. Any opposed?
Yeah.
So
No.
then would that be fanny pack as 10? For
We've got
bait?
fanny pack at 6.
Oh wait, that's right. We already picked that one. 6 and 10. It's that important.
So for number 10, we've got either the map, frisbee, water purification, whiskey, or compass. What do you think at number 10?
I'm going whiskey.
I agree with that. Whiskey's important. If that broken leg is compound, they're going to need to get it out of infection.
Oh, heaven help if it was compounded. That would be ugh.
Yeah, that poor person.
We'll just
Sorry,
take you
Logan.
grave right now, Logan.
Hang in there, buddy.
I told you just to leave me. Let
We
the
might need to
bears
get
have
you
me.
to sleep or something. All right, so
I think
whiskey at
whiskey's a good
10.
idea.
Yeah.
All right, number
Or you just
11.
break it off and cook it up.
Yeah. Number 11. So we've got map, frisbee, water purification, or compass.
I'm going to go frisbee
Frisbee.
Some recreation.
because you can use it to carry water or warm up food in it, or like I'm thinking functional, not like, hey, we're bored, let's go throw
Let's play frisbee. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to think like, what is the purpose of a frisbee? Because it's probably not big enough to signal someone, and you probably like, does it burn very well? I don't know. I've never tried to burn a frisbee, but that's a good point. You could use it as a plate. You could use it to carry water, things like that.
So everybody
Oh,
okay with frisbee at number 11?
Smoke signals, yeah. Or
Yeah.
something.
There
Fan
you
the
go.
fire. Fan the fire.
Yep.
Yeah,
Cool. All right, frisbee 11. Number 12. It's either the map, water purification, or the compass.
maybe water. I don't know. I don't know.
I guess it just depends on how dirty because I've been
Yeah.
backpacking in Yosemite and it's full of feces. It's not like you can drink out of the water,
Yeah,
even if there's a lot of it.
Yeah, better throw that in there just in case.
You know?
So we want to call it 12 then?
Yeah, good with that. I mean, I'm assuming they're next to a running river, so the water's probably pretty good. But
yeah. I think the rain would sustain you for a while, especially if you have the frisbee to catch rain in. But yeah, just in case maybe it doesn't rain for a couple days or whatever, the water purification is probably a good backup.
All right, so we've got 13 and 14, compass and map.
Map and then compass.
So map 13, everybody okay with that? Okay.
Yeah.
And compass 14?
Yeah, you could try to burn them.
All right.
I'm honestly impressed that those were the last two things that we decided on, because normally in survival situations those are so important. So,
Yeah, those were the map and the compass were my 2 and 3 because I was thinking, okay, if we send someone out, they're gonna need a way to navigate it. So
Yeah.
I guess either way, we're gonna see it.
Well, and a lot of this, like we talked about, is a little subject to change because if someone knows the portages and stuff, they don't need the map, right? But like I said, the way my luck works is Logan's the one that knows. He breaks his leg, and then 2 people that don't know are stuck, and then they would need the map. So a lot depends who's the lucky one with the broken leg, and who are the 2 unlucky ones that get to go, kind of a thing. But,
and truthfully, if this was a real situation, you have to assume that all these people are a little more adept at surviving in that kind of environment than we would be, because like this is not something I would ever do, ever.
see, I'd do the float, but I wouldn't have gone through the rapids with the canoes. I'd have done the portage and called it good. So I
That's what I
laughed
was
in the
thinking.
first place and went, "You fools!" But,
that's a classic Boy Scout move, though.
Yeah.
we'll be good on the flip side. So, okay, so are you ready for the expert rankings?
Yeah.
We didn't do too bad. We didn't do too good either, but we didn't do too bad. Let's put it that way, okay? So, okay, let me get to the number one option or number one thing needed was duct tape.
Yes.
Okay, so we did real good on that one. We picked that as a team. And it says this is the most essential thing because it's the only way to repair the canoe. It can be used to patch up the 10-inch teach and to fix the broken gun walls. Other uses for the tape, which the experts say is essential on any such trip, is to repair the fishing poles and to use with large sticks to set a temporary splint for the broken bone.
I didn't even think about that.
Lastly, it can be used to fashion a makeshift pan to boil water. However, caution must be used to keep the tape far enough away from flame and to not allow the water to get so hot that the adhesive will melt. So, lots of options for the duct tape. That was the number one. I forgot to tell you who the people were, so let me back up a bit. So the experts in this case are two people, Jeff Steinman and Ken Geiske of REI Outfitters, both whom act as guides for canoe trips to the Boundary Waters region. They agreed the best course was for the group to repair one of the canoes, send two of the most experienced and least injured people to paddle to a road and get to the Grand Marius for help. Because the search party would not even leave for at least 5 days and might not find the group for a couple more days. This would cause severe hardship on the group, particularly with a broken leg. Food is way down and there's minimal protection from rain and cold. Since the tent and tarps were lost, cold and rainy weather at this time of year is life-threatening. So the group must get help as soon as possible. It's estimated the group of two would move faster than if everyone went along, and they could get to help within 1 day. Okay. Then a helicopter to be sent to camp. So first priority of the group is to go for help. However, in order to do this and survive, it is important to get warm and to try to dry out wet clothing and sleeping bags. However, since it has started to drizzle and may rain, there's no assurance things will get dry soon. In that case, the party of two needs to leave quickly in wet clothes and take their wet sleeping bags with them. There's almost no food left, most of it having been lost in the rapids. About half should go to the two paddlers who will have less time to gather food, but who will presumably get to a food source sooner. The expert says as long as they have water, they could go for 3 days without food and still function adequately. On the third day, they would get shaky. Those left behind can try to catch some fish to eat. So that's kind of the talk through, and then it goes into the individual things. Okay, so duct tape was one. Number two was the personal flotation devices. This one shocked me. I was like, what? Number two? You got to be out of your mind. But the PFDs, it says they're useful mostly because they help keep the body warm. They can be worn as vests to keep the torso warm or used as sit pages or pillows on wet or cold ground. Right now, the clothes are all wet. Even when PFDs are wet, they still provide warmth. So they're using it as a shelter item. So that was the second item.
Okay.
Yeah. The third one was the map of the area. So we kind of bombed out a little bit, but we were thinking all one way, which is good to do as a team. So the map of the area is essential for the two people striking out to get help. It would be almost impossible to navigate out of lakes and to a road without the map. The plastic coaching also makes the map useful as a makeshift umbrella. So that was number 3.
I would not have thought of that.
Me either. I did not. 4, sleeping bags. Important to keep warm both for paddlers and whoever typed this has all sorts of typos in it, so I apologize. But it said like 2 is spelled OT now, I guess. But even though the bags are wet, they still provide some warmth. Since they are synthetic, it is important to dry them out as soon as possible, though. The bags can be used day or night for warmth. So that was number 4. Number 5 was matches. To start a fire, as soon as a drizzle or rain stops and begin drying out the clothes, The extra set can be dried out and put on at the same time that some people strip down and get into sleeping bags while their clothes dry. Fires can be started from the plentiful wood pieces in the area. Birch bark is used as a fire starter. The first is important for cooking purposes, also as well as providing warmth for the group. If the weather had not started to drizzle and looked like it was going to rain soon, the matches would have been number 3 in order to get clothes and sleeping bags dry, especially for those leaving. So since it was raining, it bumps it down to 5. If it wasn't raining, it would be up as high as 3. So that was an interesting one. So number 6 was the food, which we got right, spot on. There isn't much. It will still be very helpful. It must be divided and rationed so it doesn't run out quickly for those staying behind. It is hoped that within a day, fish can be caught. However, in the meantime, the food that remains should somehow be protected from bears. So, yeah, bears, just another problem to add into everything, right? So number 7, clothes. When it stops raining, the extra clothes need to be dried out and 3 of the remaining people can wear them. This greatly helps the chances of survival for keeping dry, increases warmth. Dry clothes are even more important than securing additional food to eat. So, number 7. All right. Number 8 was the fishing poles. Once the duct tape is used, the poles should be fit for fishing in the lake, where northern walleye and lake trout average 2 to 5 pounds. Fish can be caught and cooked over the fire. A stick may be used as a spit to roast the fish, or the makeshift pan from duct tape can boil the fish. So fishing pole is number 8. Number 9 was the parachute cord. This has many uses as a line to dry clothes, though bushes can be used too to secure the food in a tree away from bears. And if duct tape runs out, the cord can be used for splinting the leg and for repairing the gun walls on the canoe. In order to do this, poke the holes near either side of the top using the jackknife, which I don't remember there being a jackknife, but okay. Pull the cord through the holes and tie it securely. Number 10 was the insect repellent for protection from mosquitoes and black flies, which are both persistent and thick, as well as wood ticks and deer ticks, which often spread Lyme disease. But one can's going to be gone real fast. Number 11 was the water purification tablets. Mildly important because the water in these areas is often not pure. However, the disease to worry about the most is Giardia, the protozoa in the water. It takes 2 weeks to take effect in the body. By that time, everyone should be home. Water can also be boiled. So, number 12 was the Frisbee. Though it was brought for recreation, it actually has some survival value. One use is to heat water in it, being careful that the heat does not melt the plastic. Fish can be boiled in it as well, and can hard candies in water to provide a warm liquid for the group. The Frisbee can be used to fan the fire through blowing on it works too. See, there's just so many horrible. Whoever typed this needs to get smacked. Though it says through blowing on it, and though blowing on it works too. And it can be used for recreation to ease the tension. So a little bit of Frisbee action going on. Number 13 was the magnetic compass. This is not as important as the other items because the paddlers are well equipped to navigate the lakes with the map. So, and then number 14 is whiskey.
Wow.
Some may think this is useful for energy or to keep warm, but actually it has the opposite effect, and it should only be used as a last resort for pain, broken bone, because alcohol causes dehydration and hypothermia, getting colder. This is horrible. Whoever wrote this, man. After drinking alcohol, the blood capillaries expand. Initially, the driver feels warm. However, heat is actually being lost, and later there's a sudden feeling of being very, very cold. How'd we do?
I don't know. Tally up our score.
So what you do is you subtract the 2, and that's the group error, okay?
I did it.
So for instance, the fanny pack is 0, right? Because we didn't.
Yeah, we got a 44. If we're supposed to
Yeah.
average it, like add them all up, we got a 3.1.
Oh, and each one.
Oh, I mean, like, yeah. If you add them all up, which is 44, then divide by 14, it's 3.1 on average. Average error or whatever they say.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So we're all dead.
We're all good.
I have no idea. Did better than I got a 66 when I did it. So we improved. We did 44.
I got 54.
You said our group score was 44?
Yeah, if I added it right.
I got 38.
I got 38 too.
Yeah, I got 38 as well.
Fine.
You might have switched one of the expert rankings, or maybe I switched one of the expert
Or
rankings.
maybe I added up the wrong row.
Let's see.
Well,
Let me do it again.
if it's supposed to be column C minus column D, don't we have some negative numbers?
Oh, that's true. I didn't think I was doing absolute values.
That's what I think we're supposed to do. It doesn't really say because I don't think they want you going negative. I just put just the difference so it stays positive.
Yeah, it's just supposed to be
Yeah.
the difference.
Okay.
Now, what we do have to go through is I need each of your individual scores so we can come up with an average for the team. So give me 1 second.
Okay, 1 minute.
All right. Who's got a score ready for me?
Well, I have 28.
That is your personal score?
Yes.
Ooh, good job. Who's next?
Well-
I got 54, so I was great.
Well, is a lower score or a higher score better?
The lower score means you were closer to the answers. So
I got 46. Let me double check that though.
I got a 62, so I died.
Me too. 62 as well.
Oh, we're both dead. Okay, good.
Yeah, I got a 46 as well. It's that broken leg, Logan. It just really threw you
Yeah.
for a loop.
you're in shock, buddy. What'd you get, Stephanie?
31.
31.
Nice.
Dang, that's good.
That compass
I guess-
really threw me off. I got 11 points on that compass for my difference.
I think I did too. Yeah.
So our average score was a 47.2 with rounding.
You rounded down, right?
Well, it's 47.1666666. So
Dang it.
yeah.
Want to make us look
47.
better.
Yeah, well, that's not too bad, really. But
Actually, mine was 30. I added wrong. Sorry.
oh, crap. What'd you say it was? 31 originally?
Yeah.
I'm still getting 44 as our group one. You guys said 38?
What?
The group score was 38, correct? So what were the individual scores? I got 54. Ethan, you got what?
46.
46. Logan, what'd you get?
Yeah, this is the individual error section, right? Section A.
Yeah.
We got 62.
62. Okay. Sharon, you got 28, right?
28. Yeah.
Hunter?
62 as well.
2. And Stephanie, you got 31 this time?
30.
30.
30 on the individual score.
Yep. Okay. So 47. We went down just a little bit.
Nice.
Okay, let's see the persuasion score. I can't remember what we got to do with the persuasion score.
Minus C. B minus C.
Yeah.
So your ranking minus the group ranking. Okay.
You need all of our scores?
Yeah, just 1 second.
I'm still getting the group. Everyone said 38 on it. I said 44.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what I got wrong.
So the group rankings, you got 6, 13, 8, 9, 5, 11, 12, 1, 10, 7, 2, 3, 14, and 4.
Yeah.
You had them in that order. So if you add those all
Yeah.
together,
Well, what do you have for your expert ranking, Logan?
Oh,
Going down, I got 6, 3, 2, 8, 7, 12, 11, 1, 14, 10, 5, 9, 7, 4.
13.
13.
Yeah.
13-4.
Yeah.
Oh, I got 2 7s. Well, dang it. 13.
I wish that compass was 7. It really would have screwed me up less.
Okay. Let's see. Everybody already did the quiz on this one, right? So everybody's good there.
Mhm.
The quiz. You mean the
When you had to go in and put what you scored for each
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I got 100% on that one, so I don't know why I'm.
I know. When I first saw that, I was like, dang, I'm a genius. And then I was like, oh, wait, it's just upon completion.
Yeah. Okay, so we got the group average. Okay, so the best member score, or lowest individual score, was Sharon. Good job, Sharon.
Nice.
Okay, Sharon, what was your persuasion score?
36.
You got 36.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, mine was so high.
Okay, and then we had to figure out the group and process gain. If your group score was lower than the average member score, you did have process gain. If it was higher, then you did not. Okay. Everybody understand that?
Nope.
So if our group score, which we got as a group, we got 38, was lower than the average member score, which we figured. What did we figure the average member score was?
Was it 47?
Logan? Did your score change?
What was that?
Did your individual score change when you changed that expert ranking number
Yeah.
on the compass?
Yeah, we got 38 now.
Yeah.
I know, but what was your individual score?
Okay, 1 second.
Oh, that's true.
So the persuasion score, is it the higher your persuasion, the more you persuade people, or the more you're persuaded?
I don't know. It doesn't say.
If it's B minus C,
I'm assuming it's how good you were at persuading people, but
It's B minus C. So essentially, if you had a 0, that would mean you're very persuasive because your group ranking was identical to your ranking.
right.
So the lower it is, the more persuasive you are. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means I'm not very persuasive.
Well, that was a tough one because I was trying not to be persuasive at all. Knowing the answers, I was like, oh crap. But
Well, I didn't feel like I could really be persuasive because I don't feel like I know anything about this stuff.
Yeah. I'm just thinking too about like the process gain and stuff. I don't think so. Our group score was 38, and Logan's was like 64 or something. So it's going to not change our average very much from the individual average score. So we probably still were process gain.
yeah, because I think we were 47, right? I think
Yeah.
overall, so we were still better because our group score was lower than the average member score.
Yeah,
Because our average member score is 47. So
give or take a couple points because Logan's changed. But yeah, I think we're still process gain.
yep, I do too.
I got a 52.
Nice.
You got 52. Okay.
Is that lower? I can't remember what it was before.
It was like 60 something.
Yeah, because you were 62 before. Yeah,
Oh shoot, man, I'm still dead.
you're still there. All right. So
Well,
I'm gonna-
process gain is good though, right?
Go ahead. Yeah, very much so. So I think overall that's about it for the night.
Nice.
Did
I
you have
know we
to,
rushed through
did you have to post something? Do we need to help you with anything on that discussion board or whatever?
I have to
You're
report
safe
the
to read
group's
it?
results, and I think I've just about got all the numbers.
Okay.
Do you need our persuasion scores, or is that just for us? to
I think
turn in?
that's just for you. It doesn't say I need them, but if I need them, I'll email you, and you guys can just send them back to me when I go to post them in the discussion board.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Anybody have any questions? I know that was a lot and busy.
Isn't there 2 parts? Or yeah, I'm confused. So there's
The first part was the quiz.
okay.
Yeah. So
And
this
that's
is
just
the
putting
second
your
part.
stuff in. you
So we
know.
don't have to do a write up or any.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
At least I haven't found one yet. If we do, then I haven't done it yet. Let's put it that way.
Well, the reading discussion for the week is basically the write-up. It's there's a couple questions about this process and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So that's really going to be the write-up is the reading discussion. But it's not like a huge thing like they usually are. Thank goodness.
Right.
Yeah, for reals.
All right. Any last questions? I'll get this posted. I'll get the broadcast sent out to everybody. And if I have any questions while I'm posting, I'll send you guys an email.
Yeah, I have a question for next week. So obviously it's Thanksgiving and he's still expecting us to we're still supposed to be doing a thing. But
He
does
posted.
Wednesdays at 7 still work for everyone? I'm the leader next week, so I'll just make it shorter because that's what he said in the thing. So I was thinking like hopefully he'd be okay with like 20, 30 minutes.
Well, technically, for the signups we did, you're signed up for week 12. There was no week 11 to sign up for. That's what the confusion was about in the class, and that's what his post was about today.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what we should do. Like, just push everyone up, like you do 11.
That's what I
think
just
it's me for. I can't remember who the next one person is, but
yeah.
you know what I'm saying. Like, if we go back and pull up that list that Stephanie made at the very beginning and sent to him, there's no week 11, which is kind of confusing. That's what everyone's is asking him, and then he posted something which still didn't clarify anything really. Let me read what he said real fast. There is still a typical outline, including a group leader, but we never signed up for a group leader. Please follow the course outline and have the group meeting. So I guess we could still just plan on you doing it and then just flowing like we do. But then week 13, which would be the last one, would still need to be filled in by somebody because we will be shorthanded by that point. If that all makes sense to you guys.
Yeah. I figured we would just keep with the rotation, so whoever would have gone naturally in week 14 can just do week 13.
Because if week 11 wasn't supposed to happen, then I'd be the last week 13. But now that we're doing week 11, I will be week 12, and someone has to take on week 13.
Who would have been next in line?
Well, I
Spencer?
think
Has everybody had it twice so far?
We're finishing up our second round right now.
I can't remember if I was after. I think I was after Ethan.
Thought I was.
Maybe you were. Maybe I was after Logan.
Yeah, I
I
think
can't
Logan.
remember.
I think Logan was after me, and then I think you were after Logan, and I think
Okay.
Sharon was after you.
We'll figure it out, but I guess
Yeah.
we're on for next week. We'll see
Do
where
a
it
short
goes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Everyone in the class seems to be confused about it, but I guess
maybe he'll give us more insight by next week as well. But I'll just plan on like maximum 30 minutes because he said it could be shorter because it's like Thanksgiving Eve. So
Right.
Yeah, and
Oh, yeah.
I will be out of town, so I'm going to take my computer with me and assume that where I'm at, I will have internet access. But just in case, if I'm not there, it's just because I don't have access. But
yeah, I'm gonna be out of town as well, but I'm gonna be in my grandparents' house hopefully, so that then they have internet, so we should be fine.
Okay. Should we
My
try to
wife's
do it
family
earlier,
does-
maybe? Or
I'm gonna be traveling Wednesday before then, so 7 will be best for me.
I mean, like a day earlier? Or what, it has to be Wednesday.
we have a case study due next week.
Well,
That's crap.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Are we still being recorded?
yes.
I was gonna say something.
Do you think that he watches the whole thing for every group every week?
With
No
me,
idea.
yeah. With me, he does. He watches it. Wait, are we still being recorded?